1460 WVOX.
Stay tuned now for the Racing for Heroes radio show with host Brett Morash on 1460 WVOX.
All right, Racing for Heroes fans, it is Friday, May 21st, 11 o'clock Eastern, and we're here at 1460 on your AM dial or worldwide on WVOX.com. We actually have three guests today, and I just want to put out there that we will not be on the air next week as Racing for Heroes is being honored by Lucas Oil as their nonprofit out at Lucas Oil Speedway next week. So I'll be calling in the morning show with Dennis and Tawny, but I won't be on the air that afternoon. So our first guest, though, is U.S. Marine Corps military policeman since retired, but now turned professional driving instructor, Dan Buckle, and he drives everything from race cars to training people in passenger cars and things like that. And so we're going to have him on like right now. So Dan, are you on the line?
Yes, I am, Brett. How you doing?
I'm doing awesome. Where are you today? Are you out in Utah or are you somewhere nicer?
No, I'm actually have one day off here at in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Oh, there you go. All right, awesome. And Dan, so I know that you've been a long time friend of Racing for Heroes, but you were in the Marine Corps, and specifically, you were an embassy guard. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it was good. I went in as an MP, 5811, and then quickly transferred over to Marine Security Guard, and I was in Paris, France, which was a really difficult station. Then I went into the middle of the Sahara Desert in Nouakchott, Mauritania.
Oh boy! Well, they're both French-speaking countries, right? So that probably was why, right?
Yeah. They that worked out. I'd taken that and learned some of that and perfected it when I was out there. So it did work in both places.
Now, does every young security guard get sent to like a posh station like Paris first, and then somewhere more austere, or you just luck of the draw?
Yeah, no, they definitely do. It splits about in the middle, and you get the upper one and then the lower one, depending on.
Gotcha.
And I was actually going to N'Djamena, Chad, but they had a flare up there, and at the last minute, they shipped me off to Paris.
Oh, wow. Great. Yeah, listen, I can't imagine that being too bad. And then Mauritania is actually not too bad either. It's a bit of a sleepy place.
No, it was a great experience. There was a lot going on at the time, and it's the largest independent country in Africa, and so there was a lot of influence coming from all over the world and a lot of different governments. So it was a great place to be.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I love their flag with the trident on it too. So it's one of my favorites. So, but Dan, so tell us. So you got out of the Marine Corps, and how did you end up as a driving instructor extraordinaire?
Well, I've done a lot of things in my life, but I've always enjoyed driving. And back in about mid-'90s, I decided to take it up. I got a really cool car and went to the track with it a couple of times. Then had a buddy who wanted to start racing first-gen RX-7, so got in with NASA and SCCA and started doing that. And along that path, there were guys that helped me along and taught me the skill of driving. And about 11 years ago, I figured out after doing that for 15 years, I'd find somebody to pay me to do that. So now I do it professionally full time. It's pretty good.
Yeah. And how does that work? What type of training do you do? What's kind of the range and scope?
Well, actually, there are a lot of guys that specialize. I do all kinds of driving, Racing for Heroes. I work with the tactical side of it with the government and military. I work with Team Driving Solutions School, Dan Wagner out there at VIR, and teach new drivers. I work at the Ford Performance Racing School, working with owners and getting them in their upper echelon Ford products out there with the GT500 and the GT350 on track, getting them running and down the drag strip. And I work with groups like the Extreme Experience with supercars. So just a little bit of everything.
Oh, that is
like
a little
being
bit
behind the wheel.
Yeah, that's amazing. So, but the team driving experience, my daughter just passed her written exam 2 days ago. So obviously I'm very interested in what that looks like. And what do you teach kids that's different than, let's say, regular driving school?
Well, it's the basics, but the basics are in all of them. And just an aside here, my son just got his full-time driving license yesterday.
Oh,
so Daniel's out there on the road now on his own, battling with everybody else out there on the highways now.
That's awesome.
But no, in teaching the teen drivers, no matter which group I'm working with, one of the biggest things is one, paying attention, but I won't go off on the whole not being on your cell phone and not texting while driving. Everybody knows about that, but we rely so much on our vision to get what we want and take us where we want to go. And people don't seem to pay attention to that. So as long as you identify your goal and see that it's a safe thing to do, whether you're aiming at a bullseye, you don't shoot and then aim, you aim and then shoot. Same thing in a car. You want to look where you're going, identify where that is, and your body will take you there, and then you pay attention and you get yourself there. It's the most important thing in driving. It's
kind of like driving a bike. I mean, I remember one time I got fixated on a hole in the ground, and I drove my bike right into the hole in the ground. And, that's where I think it's kind of the same with driving, is that you need to keep your eye on, what your objective is, to your point.
Absolutely. The way we've developed, we go where we look. So look where you want to go. Don't stare at the side of the road that you're a tree or something you don't want to hit, or you're going to go over that way. You want to look to where you do want to go. And yeah, same on a bicycle, a motorcycle. You can't ride staring over at the front wheel. You'll wreck the bike. You've got to look far ahead, and it balances you out. It makes you a much better driver immediately if you'll just get your eyes up.
Yeah, I think that's 100% right. And I mean, I see it with like my kids. We took them on the Raptor track down at VIR a couple weeks ago, and they got progressively better. And they had Ricky Henson was actually their instructor for the day. So it was great having that experience.
Yeah, Ricky's really good, and I know on that experience you get airborne there for a minute. So once all four tires are off the ground, your vision doesn't help you along for the ride. But getting there, yeah, the more good practice you have and a little bit of instruction, it goes a long way.
Well, we were going slow. I mean, we were going not what that track's designed for, in my wife's Land Cruiser. So it was, we just kind of motored along. But so we'll shift back to some of the racing stuff. What's been your favorite racing experience, and maybe even one that someone can get into that's like a normal folks?
Yeah, it's once you go head to head with a group of guys out on a track, it's hard to go back to just learning how to drive solo on the track.
Yeah.
And it's still good. It's still a lot of fun, but there's something about that competition, and there are opportunities all over. Back if you start with autocross, very low budget with your car. You could go out into a parking lot most any weekend with another group of people and an organization that have it all set up and can teach you the ropes. Quick 2-minute runs through a cone course, practicing your skill and developing it. And then you can graduate up onto the track, just about any track in the country. And there are more of them than you would really think until you get into it. But they have groups going, the Porsche Club, Audi Club, BMW Club, Mustang Club, and they all take all comers. They're always looking for people to fill those seats and pay for the track.
Yeah.
So they'll get you in there, starting off with a beginner. They'll get you an instructor, and you work your way up through the ranks, just like I did, just like anybody.
Well, and I think that's inspiring, right? Because you weren't like super awesome driver coming right out of the Marine Corps, more than anyone else, and you just kind of built your experience up that way.
Right. It is a skill, and it's a learned skill, though. There are some people with the affinity for driving and hand-eye coordination, but everybody learns somewhere, and then you just keep working on it. So it's something that's attainable by anybody if you have the drive and the interest and get the help.
Yeah, that's great. And you train law enforcement too, as well, right? Does that include things like pit maneuvers and those things that we see on television? What else?
I do. Yeah, I teach people how to crash cars as well as drive fast. I try and keep the group separate between the racing group and the tactical group.
Right.
But no, it's really good. It's skills, not that are necessary in certain situations, and if you can accomplish those with the minimal amount of damage and achieve your goal, that's what I like to see people do, and it's really rewarding. With our law enforcement and our military. The things that I teach them, I know that in that situation, it's very serious. And if they have those skills and can rely on them without going to, some other more damaging or prolonging any event, then mission accomplished. I love it.
Okay, that's amazing. And yeah, because I remember like Ricky was showing us, like how to get the car to balance out, like going through the slalom course. And I think that's stuff that you probably are teaching these law enforcement individuals, but I think it's a good crossover for a civilian to know as well.
It is because we're all driving every day, and all you have to do is look around you, at rush hour and look at all the dings and bump ups and people on the side of the road. We all need more training, and there are things that we do occasionally that we enjoy, that we train for sports and things like that. But something that we do as much as driving every single day, all of us, and we don't have autonomous cars yet. We
Right.
still have control of that vehicle, and we need to take it seriously. And everybody needs more training.
Gotcha. And before we go to our next guest, is anywhere people can look to find out a little more like these driving schools or like, with the kid one especially?
Sure, yeah. teendrivingsolutions.org on the website. You can find that. There is, for those of you more into looking to do some more high performance things, there's motorsportsreg.com that has every event all across the country. And yeah, you can contact your local, I would say driving instructing school, but that's going to be a more limited type of instruction based on passing tests and things like that. But to get some experience, there are a lot of good groups out there. But you can, if you contact teendrivingsolutionsschool.org, or you could even catch me on my Hotmail, danbuckleii@hotmail.com, and I could direct you anywhere you need to go.
That's great. Well, Dan, thanks so much for being on the show today. We truly appreciate it, and I'm sure I'll have a chance to catch up with you when I'm down at VIR again here shortly.
I look forward to it, Brett.
Thanks, Dan. All right, everyone. That was Dan Buckle. Again, he great driving instructor, and please reach out to him if you have any questions. So our next guest is on the line. It's Ann Lord Bailey. She is a pharmacist with the Veterans Administration and emergency tech clinical specialist. But one of the reasons that I'm happy to have her on the show is not only her work with the veteran community, which I'm a member of, and many of our listeners are, but she is a member of Team Unbroken. And has done the world's toughest race. So Ann, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Brad. It's great to talk to you.
It's doing good. We have like 80-degree weather up here. I know you're down in South Carolina or North Carolina, excuse me. How's the weather down there? You guys, everything okay?
Oh my word, it's been beautiful. It's been a beautiful week. 70 degrees and sunny all week. It's been super fun to be outside.
So that must be perfect weather for you to train for the world's toughest race.
Absolutely. And this area actually is perfect also for training. We have mountains, we have whitewater rafting, we have, we can mountain bike, we can rock climb, we can do all the things. So it's a pretty great place to live.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. So tell us about how your preparation's going though. Like what's next steps? Because last time I talked to Gretchen was a little while ago. So I don't know where Team Unbroken is right now.
Yeah, so Team Unbroken has a lot of things going on. We are constantly in training and preparation mode just for life, honestly, but also for our next great adventure. So the race in Patagonia, we still don't know when that's going to happen, if that's going to happen. So we just stay in training mode. We're doing lots of events. We got to skydive with the Army's Golden Knights
I saw
a couple
that.
weeks ago. Yeah. That was phenomenal. We have a few more events like that coming up, and we can't wait. In July, we're going to be doing a 24-hour adventure race up in Maine. So super cold water up there, but that should be a good time. And then have some, more, we're going to go out west and do some mountain biking in the fall. And then our biggest new event that we have on the calendar is we're going to actually do an adventure race in Holland in early 2022. So we're excited about that.
Jumping over dikes and tulips, right? I think that's probably the race, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm kidding.
That's exactly right.
No, listen, I'm sure there's like a lot of swampy water there and stuff for you to trudge through that, is going to make it miserable. And miserable in a good way. Don't get me wrong. I know that you thrive on that type of race, but so how did you even get into this? I mean, like this, this is obviously the extreme end of kind of the physical sports, but how did you go from, just with your lovely Labrador retriever to this?
Yeah, so being a relatively normal human being to being a little bit crazy. So I have always been an endurance racer in the sense that I do, note the half. I do lots of half marathons, half Ironman, things like that. And then met Gretchen a couple of years ago, and she invited me to run my first marathon ever met or spent any and you know that you can't say no to her. So I ran my first marathon, and then later that fall, she got the notification that this World's Toughest Race thing was happening, and sort of tongue in cheek was a little bit dared that she couldn't find a team to do it. And she said, well, not only will I find a team to do it, I'll make sure everybody has some sort of disability. So I'm a type 1 diabetic, which compared to, you know, some of the things that my other teammates have dealt with, mostly being combat veterans, I feel like, you know, my life's pretty easy. But that was it. I mean, it was just the opportunity to say yes to something that we'd never done before, and something that in so many ways seemed impossible and highly unlikely, but we all took it on. We face our own daily challenges, just like everybody does, right? So we face daily challenges and thought, well, this is an opportunity to step up and say, hey, this is a visible opportunity to show you can always do more than you think you can. And so we just started training hard. We went all in for wilderness first aid courses, and we became whitewater rafting.
Oh, because you need to be able to manage yours.
Certified. Yeah. I mean, you have to be able to sustain your own life for at least 24 hours out there, you know, given that they don't know if something happens, what can happen, when they can get you know?
Yeah, that's amazing. And how about your experience though, working for the Veterans Health Administration? You know, is your like professional work help with this?
Yeah, it's actually helped. It is an honor to work for Veterans Administration, and that's really where I've grown up in my career professionally. And I love working with veterans. I love being able to get to know them, get to know their history, whether they're combat veterans or maybe served during peacetime or whatever it is. I mean, they all have a unique perspective on life and freedom and honor and duty. And I've genuinely learned so much. And also because of my experience, have learned a lot about spending time with people who struggle with PTSD or traumatic brain injuries, or you know, just see the world and teamwork and team commitment differently than civilians do. And so I was able to bring that experience as a civilian onto the team of Team Unbroken and help bridge the gap. When we did the race in Fiji, we had 2 other civilians. So it was 2 combat veterans and 3 civilians, 4 of us actually racing in the jungle, and then 1 was a support member. All of us, again, with a variety of disabilities, but I was able to try to help communicate between the civilian perspective of teamwork and dedication and the much deeper sense of commitment and dedication with the veterans. And so that was really incredible. But also just the clinical experience of helping with PTSD and traumatic brain injuries specifically was pretty critical while we were out there.
That's incredible. Yeah, because I mean, again, I think that because of your experience working with the veteran population so intimately, you do have a certain perspective, I think, that is lost on a lot of folks. And it makes them more comfortable. I'm sure Sergeant Major, you know, Gretchen there, you know, works with you really well, you know, because you kind of get it.
Yeah. I've learned a lot from her too. But I mean, I've learned to be her ears, because if you know her, you know that she's completely deaf. But she relips really well. And so it's easy to forget that. But I've learned a lot about paying attention to communication and how we communicate, make sure that people are up to speed. But also just, you know, reading the room and paying attention to the environment, recognizing that technical repetitive skills are challenging if you have a traumatic brain injury. And so really focusing on details and having that focus, I think, has been helpful.
Well, that's amazing. And when will we hear more about what Team Unbroken's doing, or how do I find out more as we get ready to bring on our next guest?
Yeah, so the immediate way is to follow us on Instagram at Team Unbroken USA. Very important that you have that USA at the end. But also we hope to be launching a website soon and a lot more to come. So all of that will be posted on our Instagram. So that's the best way to follow us for now.
Awesome. Well, I got to be honest with you. Gretchen is probably the toughest woman I've ever met in my entire life. And you're a very, very close second, my friend. So, thank you for what both of you do.
Well, I appreciate that. That's a true honor. I feel like Gretchen lives in a world all her own, so it's an honor to be your teammate.
She's like Superwoman.
She really is.
Like for real. No cape though. No cape. They get caught in things. So All right. Well, listen. Thanks again, and I wish you all the best as you guys go. Yep. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. That was Ann Lord Bailey of Team Unbroken. Please check them out on their Instagram, Team Unbroken USA. And our next guest, really, we're so glad to have him on board. It's Wayne Castleberry, Lucas Oil. We will, Racing for Heroes, like I said, will not be here next week. But the reason we're not here next week is we will be spending 3 days out in Wheatland, Missouri at Lucas Oil Speedway. So, Wayne, how are you doing?
Good, good. Thank you for having me on.
Well, and Wayne, I know we're actually working ourselves down the Eastern Seaboard because you're out of Florida right now. So the weather must be awesome there.
Yes, I'm based in Florida, and the weather's beautiful, and I'm looking forward to next weekend.
Yeah, we are too. In fact, I'm picking up the RV on Monday, so my family is looking forward to cross country trip to Missouri.
Yeah, that will be fun. And when you get to the racetrack, you'll see all the amenities. It's one of the nicest facilities, short tracks in the country. It's nicknamed the Diamond of Dirt. The only way you know it's a dirt track is if you're on the actual racing surface.
Oh,
Everything else is concrete, asphalt, plush campgrounds, and the rolling hills and lakes all around. A 4,000-foot drag boat lake, a go-kart track on the midway for kids to ride go-karts.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, so it's going to be a big time, and we're looking forward to it. I'm glad you're going to maybe come out there.
Yeah, so and we're bringing our 773 car and our tribute trailer. I think we talked about as well. So people can kind of see what the mission of Racing for Heroes is. But let's talk a little bit about the race. So when is it? And tell us about the 3 days.
So it's the Lucas Oil Show Me 100 next Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Thursday and Friday nights are preliminary nights. They're full shows with feature events, and all the drivers earn points towards the starting lineup for the main event on Saturday, which is the 100-lapper 30,000 to win Show Me 100.
Gotcha.
All 3 nights will be live on the internet on mavtvplus.com.
Mm-hmm.
And then Saturday night will also be live on the MAV TV network on your TVs. If you have DirecTV or MAV TV in your cable subscription, it will be live on MAV TV on Saturday night. And so we're excited about that. We have a lot of neat things. Lee Greenwood has been contracted to be there to sing the national anthem.
That's awesome.
And to also sing his song, God Bless USA, right before driver introduction. So we got some big things going to happen on Saturday, and we hope everybody can tune in and watch and check it out.
Well, I'll tell you what, I am a MAV TV fanatic, and I've just been watching the racing coming up to this. So I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, I have a little place in my heart for Tim McCready in the 39 car with Palo Motorsports, but it's just amazing watching everyone race.
Oh yeah. And we're going to do some things to obviously recognize the veterans that are at the event. Recognize your company. So we're excited, and we want to honor all the military and veterans being this Memorial Day weekend. And that's part of the reason we brought in Lee Greenwood to sing that song. So we're excited. We think it's going to be a really big show, and we're looking forward to having you.
Yeah, and we're looking forward to being there. I mean, I just think it's going to be an amazing experience. Real quick question. I'm a big boat fanatic. Are any drag boat racing going on that weekend, or we have to wait for another day?
No, that they just had a big drag boat national event 2 weeks ago, and so there won't be any drag boats on the lake, but you'll be able to still access the lake and have fun there.
Yeah, well, I think we'll take a walk down there. I think we're staying just across the street at the RV 54 park. But yeah, right. No, it's exciting. So what else is on tap for Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series going through the rest of the season? Because this is kind of like halfway through, though, right?
Yes, we're kind of right about the midway point. We started back in February and we'll end in October in Ohio. 58 events all over the country.
Wow.
And this is one of our marquee events. This is at Lucas Oil Speedway, which Lucas Oil Products actually owns. But we're excited. The top 10 in points is only separated by 200 points. So we got a really tight points battle. We think it'll go right down to the wire to the last race. So that's always exciting. A lot of new young guns come on the scene. A lot of young guys like Hudson O'Neill, Devin Moran, Ricky Thornton are battling the veterans like Timmy McCready, Jonathan Davenport, Jimmy Owens. So it's an interesting mix of talent, and our shows have been packed out, pretty much standing room only at every venue we've been to. The people in the different markets love to come out and and see the stars of the Lucas Oil Late Model Series. And the whole event, it's not just your average Saturday night show. No matter what venue we go to, we pretty much put on an event. We decorate the facility up really nice. We do a good job for our partners and give them a lot of love.
Yeah.
And the whole TV package has really strengthened the whole series this
for
year.
sure.
And so every event is live on the internet, which is the first time for the series this year.
Amazing.
And then we have 35 events on TV networks between MAV TV, CBS, NBC Sports, and CBS Sports. We have a pretty strong TV package.
And what times do the races start before we kind of end the show here?
So next week, Thursday, the races usually get started about 6 o'clock each night. That's Central Time.
Okay.
Should be 7 o'clock Eastern Time.
Gotcha. And that's each night. So, okay, awesome. Well, and if people want to buy tickets, they can go to the Speedway's website, I think.
LucasOilSpeedway.com. If you're interested in coming out, check out their website and you can buy tickets online, or you can buy tickets the day of the event at the facility. And I encourage anybody that's never been there to put that on your bucket list. Like I say, it's one of the nicest facilities in the country. Jumbotron screen that's constantly playing the live action on track.
Great.
Closed sound system. It's got suites, a full sit-down
Amazing.
cafeteria restaurant, a full separate bar with closed caption TVs and everything that you can sit in there and have an adult beverage if you like.
Wayne, I'm so sorry. I got to stop you there, because we are at the end of the show, but thank you for being on. And for all of our Race of Heroes fans, looking forward to come back in 2 weeks and then checking in with Dennis and Tawny next Friday. Thanks again, and everyone have a great weekend out here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye now.
Never find the time to roam.